time for Sports on the Bayou, a detailed account of the sports scene in Louisiana. Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury will break down the weekly Saints game, brought to you by the American flag, as well as the St. Martin and Bourke weekly LSU breakdown. Harry McCullough will bring us the Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Lafourche Parish segment, featuring key games of local interest. Dr. Pat, our favorite ENT, is always on top of the
asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Make a statement.
Stan Grava will bring us local pertinent medical sports information as well as high school sports. Martin False, that's me, will open up the mics in the crowd to see what's on the fans' mind. More talk and plenty of audience questions. Live from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou. And here's Mike Detillier.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sports on the Bayou. Mike Detillier, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, who blew out of the traffic to get here on time.
No,
and Rich
I was not speeding. I just caught the lights right. You know, you just got to catch the light. Now,
you actually got to stop at a red light.
No, I stopped at a red light, but if it's a yellow light, that means yield. And so I was yielding.
Are you saying that you've finally seen the light? Is that what we're hearing?
He saw it when he passed it up.
No,
we'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before, and just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
There are many strengths in our cancer center. I think one of the biggest is patients don't have to go elsewhere to get technology for their diagnosis and treatment of their cancer. Our treatment machine, the linear accelerator, allows us to pinpoint and treat cancers with more accuracy than ever was possible before. Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center provides leading-edge technology with the highest quality care and the best treatment options unique to each patient.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys. Saints took care of business, beating the Dirty Birds 30-20 in one of those "I be damn" moments.
The damn Lambs.
Rams laid it as usual. They had a 17-0 lead.
Well, Mike, but we were watching the game and all, and I'm worried about. God, look at this, man. Look, the Rams could take care of business. They up 17-0. We were only up at that time 7-6. I said, don't tell me the Rams are going to win and we're not going to take care of business. Then all of a sudden you're watching. But that's why you can't control.
You don't control your own destiny. It ain't good.
You got to be in control of your own destiny. And, we talked on this show. I mean, the Giants game. The Giants are sorry. We had 11-point lead. I'm not talking about a 4-point lead or a touchdown. 11-point lead with a little under 8 minutes, and we lost in the Dome.
To Daniel Jones and the Giants. That's sorry that you lost that game.
Mike, it was embarrassing. I mean, because the Giants did anything.
It make you feel better. Look at the Colts. They go into the last game of the season. All they got to do is beat the worst team in the NFL, Jacksonville, and they get into the playoffs, and they laid the egg.
But the Colts have never beaten. You look it up. They struggle against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. It's a division
I don't
game.
know. Maybe it's the Florida weather. I don't know.
Or maybe Carson Wentz, the Eagles fan, said that's why we got rid of him. That's why we shifted to the Colts.
Well, the Rams had a history all year, I think. And, I told Nancy we were watching at 17. I said, these guys are not second-half team, the Rams. It seems like they've
rode
lost a
the
couple.
roller coaster.
They've been all season long. They just have not really gotten that momentum going.
It goes to show you, Rich and Bob, no matter who's coaching, who's playing, the 49ers have beat the Rams 6 straight times.
And they punch them in the mouth.
Some good Rams teams, too.
No, they punch them in the mouth and went in their trenches. That's why the Cowgirls are a little worried. I'm telling you, I'm not saying they're not going to beat the 49ers, but that's a team, Mike, I would not be shocked if the 49ers upset them.
I wouldn't either.
It wouldn't shock me. I still think the Cowboys' defense, I think, will show up that day.
Well, the 49ers, even if they're behind, you know what they still do? Run the football.
Yeah.
And with Jimmy G, they'll beat you up. They're not going away from their formula, Mike. That's how you structure the same thing, Mike. The Titans. Now, I wish Julio Jones was a little healthier, but you look at the Titans. Do you think they're going to get away from their game plan?
And they're going to run Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, right?
They say, man, you rested for 9 weeks. Now it's time to get up in there and play.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the highlights of the Saints win over the Atlanta Falcons. Alvin Kamara, what a great game he had running the football.
Well, we needed him to have that kind of game.
Yeah.
If you look at it, he had 154 total yards. If he does that every game, I like how it changes a lot. Taysom Hill, this
best
is
game he's ever played regular season.
I know it was short. It was the best game. He looked like a pro quarterback in this game.
He's gotten better.
Throws it over the middle, gets the completion, cover up the football, Traquan.
Traquan finally did something for the Saints. Come on.
He looked like Eric Martin on that little
Well, that's about the only time he looked like
Look, he's so excited. Shows you he had been there before.
He takes his helmet off.
Okay, let me see show for TV. Show my face. They don't see me in the helmet.
That's the dumbest thing in the world. Take your helmets off when you get in a fight.
How about this interception by Paulson and Debo?
One-handed.
And they were picking. You know why they were picking on him? Because the first game they burned him.
Yep.
And the piranha water too quickly, Mike. Debo burned him.
Yep. And then out in the flat, causing the turnover, Malcolm Jenkins, and he picks it up. Quan Alexander. Saints get the football inside the 10-yard line.
We have a championship defense. We ain't rebuilding nothing. We got a championship defense. We just got to get the right trigger man.
With the Liz Frank injury, Trevor Simeon's in, throws the touchdown pass over the middle. Then Matt Ryan throws this out in the flat. And again, the Saints defense causing a turnover, getting the football. This is what you're going to see from this football team until they can improve their quarterback issue, and it has to be solved with a veteran. Man, don't give me this stuff about drafting a quarterback. They don't have anybody in this draft class. You can say next year he can turn the engine over on the car, go out and get you a Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever.
Derek Carr, maybe? I don't think the Raiders are
They're not letting him. They're not going to let him go away. Now, did you give up a Cam Jordan to do that, though? To get your right
No, you have to give up something to get something.
Right.
That's the thing.
Okay, would you give up this? And I threw this out last night. Last 2 first-round picks for the Saints. Cesar Ruiz.
I'd give up 3 first-round picks with those guys.
With those 2 cats.
Yeah,
Cesar Ruiz is about like Throckmorton, who's a free agent. Cesar Ruiz.
I don't know if he's that good.
No, he blocks good against error. He's a good blocker when he has to block error. But at the point of attack, he always loses.
But I think, guys, this offseason is all going to be about the quarterback situation. And also, number 2, getting Michael Thomas healthy, that he can help you as a football player, but you got to redo your wide receiver tight end position. You get virtually nothing out of what you got on the field today.
Well, Adam Trautman, Mike, at least he was part of the first time. Think about this. We took this for granted under Drew Brees. You know, it was the first time this season we scored on our opening drive a touchdown.
It took him 17 weeks to do it.
And Trautman was part of that. So,
which is always exciting. I mean, but we still need help there. We
have a championship defense. We got a championship special teams.
And if you get Will Lutz back healthy, man, your special teams are special, because now you got Gillikin, who really came through for you as a punter, and the return game with Deontay and Aesop Winston.
And you have JT Gray, the number 1 cover guy. He's going to the Pro Bowl. He'd probably be all pro. kickoff and punt coverage. Remember I had Chris Banjo, you remember him? I thought he was awesome. But we let him go, and he goes to the Cardinals, and J.T. Gray's a better version of him.
You know who trained Banjo?
Who, you?
Michael Marty.
I'm like,
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he took him under his wing.
That's right.
I
When
see
they picked
Michael
him up,
when
Mike
he
was
took
there.
Mike was there. He
That's
did.
all.
I say that just because
Rich loves special teams. He wasn't the
Cash
number one
NFL
receiver.
checks,
I light up.
He wasn't the number one receiver, but look what you contribute to the team. How special. It's a team game.
I was
part
the
of.
number 5 receiver with only 4 receivers.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maudie.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Guys, last night, national championship game. Finally, Kirby got it, man.
After 41 years, the Georgia Bulldogs finally won now. So when I talked to Buck Bellew and I talked to Herschel Walker, I was in Atlanta a number of years, did some radio with them. They are ecstatic. You know what else I saw on TV last night? This is old school. You remember this? You remember Vince Dooley? Vince Dooley's still
on
alive.
The sideline.
He was all of a sudden because they didn't win a national championship in 41 years. You know who was right by him? Billy Payne. You might say, well, who's Billy Payne? You know who Billy Payne is? Let me tell you, I got a relationship with him. I went quail hunting with that son of a gun. When they tried to get me to go to the Falcons, I was at Rankin Smith. We had the plantation, and we going quail hunting. I thought this was awesome. I said this story before. We were riding horseback.
And he was with Dion, but not Dion the player.
We had Dion the dog. The bird dog was unbelievable. But Billy Payne is the reason why they had the Olympics in Atlanta.
Yep.
You don't think you got stroke internationally? You bring the Olympics to your city? Billy Payne did that. He also was head of Augusta. There's a lot of golfers out there. We all know the Masters. That's what Billy Payne and the kind of stroke that he had. I go, man, I know that guy. He would say, hey, Bobby, how you doing? Man, I felt like big time when I see Billy Payne on TV.
Is that the last time you went hunting with him?
Yeah, that was.
The first and last.
A first and a last.
Because
that says it all.
No, the thing is that they were recruiting me then. It's kind of like name, image, and likeness before they had that, but professional level.
Yeah.
They want me, okay, I was, Pettibone wanted me to go to Redskins, and I was like, I don't know. I went to Atlanta. They treated me better than Mr. Benson ever did. I never went to his ranch and hunting place in San Antonio, but the Falcons took care of me. Listen, I don't even like the Falcons, but don't you like people who take care of you? I mean, come on. Now think about that.
So you're saying you could be bought?
Oh, you damn right.
There's a price for everything, right?
Well, that was a dumb question. Can he be bought?
That's what happened. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's what happened. So I like that.
We're going to go to the highlights of the national championship game. Bryce Young throws it out in the flat to Slade Bowden, the Louisiana guy, gets a first down for Alabama. Now, Alabama moved the football, but could not score in the red zone.
How many passes?
And that comes back to beat them.
How many drop passes, though?
3-0. Stetson Bennett throws this out there. It's one of a few big catches that he threw, especially in the first half.
Yep.
Stetson really, really struggled in the first half. Bryce Young back to pass, got some heat, but he throws it down the middle. And Jamison Williams,
and
the knee
got hurt.
out. I think that's an ACL injury for Williams, and we'll have to see how it is. And again, Bryce Young makes the big play, but this tackle saved it because they had to settle again for a field goal. Then Bennett throws it over the middle. That's all questionable on some of those. And boy, that fumble in the fourth quarter, I still don't see how they call that. But then Bryce Young, receiver, quits on the route, and he gets it picked off.
But how could you not like Bennett, a walk-on and what he did to win a national championship?
Brian Robinson, man, he played a whale of a game, gets it down to the 20-yard line and a first down. But again, they had to settle for a field goal, and it gets blocked by the Georgia interior. 9-6, and somewhere along the line they'll go make a big play. And here it is. I think this is the backbreaker. They get a big play all the way down to the 13-yard line of Alabama.
Hey, as great as Alabama is, Georgia had better players.
I'm talking
about who you're going to see on Sunday. The only thing Alabama had was a quarterback, but, you can't do everything as a Heisman winner. But
then Bryce Young throws it over the middle, hits it, gets it inside the 5-yard line. Now, it took them a little while, but they again had to settle for a field goal. And then this controversial play, there's no way that's a fumble.
But if it is a fumble, I said, oh, no, here we go again. Georgia's not going to take care of business.
Then Bryce Young finds the tight end on a 3rd and goal play, and they take the lead 18-13. But Georgia answered.
Georgia did not fold. They did not fold.
No, they didn't. He gets a first down out of it, and then the big play here. Bennett throws it. Just heaves it up.
Great catch.
Great pitch and catch combination. Yep. And finally, Georgia takes the lead late in the fourth quarter. And
that was a great play call by Munkin.
Because they were blitzing the young freshman tight end Bowers makes the catch. They thought he would be a 3rd-string tight end because Arik Garrett leaves LSU, and he was supposed to be the guy. Never saw the field, and then the backbreaker.
Do you see Kirby right here? Go, get down.
Get down.
Get down.
Go with it.
Yeah, score.
And that was it. Game, set, match. Georgia wins their first national championship in over 40
years. Well, Mike, they were the best team. It wasn't even close this year. Now, you got to go out there.
But at the end of the third quarter, did you think that score would be like that?
No, I thought, man, Alabama's going to do it again. Damn it. Alabama.
How many plays did they run at the third quarter? They were like 65 plays or something crazy. You thought the same thing was going to happen last with the defensive Georgia ran out of gas.
The one thing I give Georgia was, and it's something Jordan Davis said after the game, they thought they were going to wear us down.
Right.
And we came prepared for that wear down.
Well, the trend was a flip. Listen, the big man, and I can tell you right now, if you're an LSU fan, Georgia's not going anywhere.
Look what's happened. LSU, Alabama, Georgia. And if you turn your head like this, what has happened in College Station recruiting?
Tell the fans out there, how important is it for recruiting to win a national title? What is that? What
Alabama's been in the top 3 the last 4 years. Georgia's been in the top 4 the last 5 years.
I know Bobby has some
I'm glad you brought that up. No, that's Rich. You set me up perfectly. The Saudi League Conference now, they've won 3 straight national championships.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
If you have nasal breathing difficulties, snoring, mouth breathing, gritting and grinding of your teeth, TMJ, or headaches during the day, along with fatigue, depression, weight gain, you may have sleep apnea, which can easily be diagnosed via an in-office visit and home sleep study. If you are a loved one or having these symptoms and it's impacting your life, please schedule an appointment with us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Normally we throw it to Martin right away, but for Rich, Bobby, myself, we want to thank all the sponsors that made this happen each and every week this year. This is our last show for the 2021-2022 season, and we couldn't do it without the sponsors, all you guys here and ladies that have helped us out to have this show come on weekly. We have a great time doing it. Also the people behind the scenes here at HTV that get this to work each and every week, and we couldn't do it too without Martin. So Martin, man, we thank you for helping us out so much, and we couldn't do it without the sponsors, people behind the scenes, but we couldn't do it without
and I couldn't do it without Mom.
Yeah,
My mom's in the suite today.
She said she told me she was coming to the Saints.
Oh, she wasn't going to miss today.
The Saints win.
Miss Brenda Tanner came with her, and normally when I see Mom and Miss Tanner together, it was at St. Francis, and somebody was in their office. Well, I'm glad I didn't go to St. Francis when those two were there. I'd have been in trouble every week. Mom, they enjoying the food for sure.
Well, she was so discouraged like me. She's watching the game. We go, boy, come on, Rams. She was so disappointed the Rams choked. But, you know, it's been a thorn outside going back to the NFC West. The Saints took care of business. It's just, hey, that's why you want to control your own destiny, like you said before.
Let me say this. Mama couldn't sleep. I check on Mom when the Saints are playing at least 4 times. And at the end of the game, she said, I don't think I'm going to sleep all night. She is a diehard fan. There's no doubt about it. Gordy, why don't you come walk up, because Archie, you know, Archie is one of the naming sponsors this year, and I want to give it up for Louisiana's Cajun Bayou, Cody Gray and his staff. And Archie, they do a great job. And we're going to get to St. Martin and Bourke in a second, because Chuck got a little gift he brought from North Louisiana. And can we give it up? Who'd you say Ian looked like?
Oh, no, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Stand up, Ian. Come face the crowd right here, Ian. This is your moment of glory.
Now he's a little
Joe
small.
Burrow has joined us today.
For Joe Burrow. He got above the neck. I mean,
well, he's younger. He's much younger. He's got to work out a little bit. He's fine in 3 or 4 years.
He's like Joe Burrow's cousin.
Yeah. There you go. Come on up here. And we're going to look at this camera right up here. And Steve Trosclair with the consoles joined us too. But just a point, because Archie and Gordy, I think they deserve a round of applause for what. Let's realistically think about the last 2 years. COVID, Ida. Come on, can we have a break this year?
There's a lot of adversity.
A lot of adversity, and Terrebonne and Lafourche work well together, and that's what I want to talk about today. Y'all got a good relationship, Archie.
We do, and look, I got to give it to Gordy coming in last year with everything that we got dealt. It's good to have somebody like Gordy you can turn to, and I think over the last couple of years, it's kind of flipped. Sometimes he calls me now, which is a good thing. But look, it's great. You know, we have a great. I know Steve's here too. We have a great working relationship with a lot of their council. I know a lot of their guys. Some of our districts overlap, especially in Pointe-aux-Chenes, with Steve and Jim. So it's good to have a group that you can turn to when you need help. Whether it's working on projects together or when we're fighting things like oil and gas lawsuits together, stuff like that.
And I want to turn to Gordy too, and if we could hand him that mic. You met President Biden, y'all both met President Biden, but then he nicknamed you Rocky. Where did that come up?
I kept talking about rocks, and he looks at me and says, I'm going to start calling you Rocky. I said, Mr. President, you call me anything you want if you give me and Archie and the rest of these guys some rocks. I said, because that's how we need to protect Louisiana. But you know, Martin, you brought up the COVID and then Ida. And before that, remember, we had Barry, and we had Zeta, and we had Alpha, and we had all. I mean, we got hit really 3 years in a row.
7 the year before.
Yeah, 7 storms, hurricanes, etc. That, and you know, to my administration and Steve Trosclair with the council and all, and of course on the Lafourche side, you know, everybody stood tall, stood together, and the people of Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche were resilient, and we mastered it out, you know?
Now, you know, I never put anybody on the spot, but I want to turn back to Archie, and because Mama, on the way out, Mama said something to me. She said, 2 parish presidents are here. Could you get them to sing or When the Saints Come Marching In?
Yeah, how about no?
Mama, I don't think they're going to do it. Gordy?
I love you, Miss Lorraine, but no.
Steve, you want to help out here? Come on, Gordon.
Oh, in the
I might try a little Dean Martin, but no, I can't do it.
Come on, Rich. All
right, Dean, I'll do a little Dean Martin with you.
Come on, go ahead. Go ahead, Rich.
Everybody loves my body sometimes.
Very good.
All right.
What about Louis?
Y'all give it up for the parish president.
All right.
Now, look, I already knew. I'll tell you, I already knew they weren't going to sing that, but I had to ask because Mama wanted to ask. All right, we're coming to, can we have a round of applause for St. Martin and Bourke, too, another naming sponsor? And look, they've done a great job, and I'm going to get to Terrebonne General in a while, too, and the corporate sponsors, because just remember COVID and what they've been through the last 2 years with all the medical facilities. So we're going to get to them in a second, but I understand you made a little trip to North Louisiana and you brought something back?
Well, yes, Martin. We're up in a big town in Natchitoches a couple weeks ago, and there's a new brewery up there called Cane River Brewery. And went in there, they had some great products. And as I was looking through the products, there was one of them I saw, and right away I thought of one of your panel members here. So I got a little presentation I'd like to do today. Bobby?
Oh, well, look at that.
I picked up something just for you.
It is still cold, too.
No,
it's still cold.
It is cold.
Cane River Brewing Company. We all know Cane River. That's, I'm going to give you a little history lesson. That's when...
By all means, please.
Red River.
We just got about 3 seconds.
You know how a river always changes its course and all that? Yeah. Well, Cane River is actually not a river. It's a lake. It's 40 miles long if you've been downtown Natchitoches, and you can hang out, and I got big gators in there. But I've been water skiing. I didn't know about all them gators.
We're trying to work out a deal where they'd have a Bobby Hebert version of the Northwestern
Oh, they would have had that if I don't want to.
No, they would have been a gallon.
Right. It would have been
a gallon.
Yeah.
Deal.
I think Rich Marty should have a bobblehead, too.
My head's bobbling. Been bobbling for about 20 years now.
He could have that up at Penn State, right?
Yeah, no, we have some clout up at Penn State. It's a long way down here.
Rich is part of the name, image, and likeness at Penn State, so he's keeping up with the Joneses.
Well, it's better to be at Penn State than the State Penn. There ain't no doubt about that.
I've been to both.
All right, but once again, can we have a round of applause for our naming sponsors? And thank you all, and Mike will kick it back to you.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bourke and Hoffa's-Duval are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bourke and Hoffa's-Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Leg pain, swelling, or ulcers can be signs of vascular disease in the legs. This lack of blood flow can lead to amputation if not treated. Varicose or spider veins may also be signs of venous disease and are more than just a cosmetic problem. Trust the most advanced team of leg pain specialists at Cardiovascular Institute of the South to reopen blockages in the legs and offer minimally invasive in-clinic vein treatments. If you experience leg pain, swelling, or have visible veins, schedule an appointment with us today at cardio.com.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it.
All right, for the corporate sponsors, we always get somebody in the audience to help us out. And this young man, I was walking around early, and he grabbed me. He said, Mr. Martin, you got to let me do the corporate
Have a future.
You got to let me.
Come on.
He said, look, I got a face for TV.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to give him a shot.
He
First
looks
of all,
like a
tell him your
young
name.
T-Bob.
Yeah.
I'm Colin Ernie, and the corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, IE, Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, Alford and Associates, and BioPeer.
All right, baby.
All right.
I think he did pretty good for his first time out.
He's your backup.
And while we're on the sponsors, I want to, Rhonda, can you and your table at Terrebonne General and also South Louisiana Human Resources Authority. Yeah, both tables stand up because during COVID, y'all have done so much. Y'all have really helped pull a community through. It's unbelievable what y'all have done at Terrebonne General and also Lisa and her crew. So thank y'all very much for what y'all have done. We couldn't have done it without y'all for sure. And I know Archie and Gordy certainly appreciate it. So what I want you to do now, you thought it was over, didn't you? Okay. All right, so we're now going to go to Harry McCullough, the thumper, for more on Sports on the Bayou.
We're now going to go to Harold McCumper, the thumper, on more Sports on the Bayou.
Thanks. That's good. I'll take the thumper. That was back in the day. But, you know, we're talking about today, you know, his haircut looks like a Southeastern Conference quarterback, right? One of those guys that played at Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama guy.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on as far as the transfer portal. 3,000 names now in the transfer portal. So that's going to be a big part of what LSU does. And just locally, when you saw it's going to affect LSU and it's going to affect Nichols, you got, of course, you got quarterbacks transferring out at LSU, Max Johnson and a couple of those other guys. But back in is Miles Brennan. He went out. Now he's back in. So he'll be back next time. But Lowell Narcisse, who must have had 10 years of eligibility. He played at St. James. Of course, he went to LSU. He went to JUCO at East Mississippi at Last Chance U. Went to UT San Antonio, coming back to Nichols, replacing Lindsey Scott, who almost had the exact same trail out of Zachary, LSU, Last Chance U. I think he was somewhere else. Then he ended up at Nichols. So it'll affect both of those teams, and look for LSU to probably be in that portal for more players come out. I think they have 21 slots or something that they can, add to their staff. Quarterback will probably be one, although, like I say, with Brennan and then Howard coming in, and they got some pretty good depth there. So what do you guys think about the portal?
Man, listen, I'm all for it.
Well, the genie's out the bottle.
You're not packing it back. But, man, I think about Lowell Narcisse, and I know Stan's here. Before he got hurt, I never saw a more dynamic quarterback in the Bayou River Parish area than Lowell. Now, when you look at him, he don't look like a regular quarterback. Right. He's a 6'3", 230-pound guy like somebody carved him out of stone. Now, remember, 2020 is the lost year. That doesn't even count. Right. So that's why Lowell can play one more year.
It's kind of like with Miles Brennan.
Yeah, similar to Miles.
Miles has been in school
offensive
forever.
line is probably going to be a spot LSU needs to hit.
And also,
they already got one out of Florida, international.
Kyron Lacey, who played 2 years at University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns, he announced yesterday that he is in the transfer portal. Right. Immediately, he got offers from Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU. It just kind of Auburn. They all just kind of piled in on Kyron Lacey. Everybody remembers Kyron, great football player, but also he was on that state championship winning basketball team at Thibodeau High School. I'm all for it. Well, as long as they have the guidelines, I think that's
Mike's all for it because he's the capitalist. I think we got a bunch of capitalists in here.
No, you for it too.
You're damn right I am.
All right.
I'm always for the players. Now, the one thing is that, what's challenging for the coaches now? Because you might have an outstanding recruiting class, but you got to continue to recruit them.
All 3 years.
It's going to get like basketball. You maybe get 1 or 2 years out of these kids. Ultimately, it's going to happen.
Yeah, because not everybody can play and everybody wants to play.
And I know you saw him play already. Cameron Ward, he was an unbelievable player in the Southland Conference. He's now transferred. He's going to Washington State.
There you go.
In Pullman, Washington.
Washington.
Just quickly before we go, Jordan Ossamon, who's a former Edie White guy from this area. He joined the Nichols staff. He was an elevator coach, too, so good luck to him.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
Curtis Calais Welding has been providing contract labor for the offshore oil and gas industry for over 28 years. Curtis Calais Welding is now hiring. All applicants must have a TWIC card and be able to pass an occupational medical exam and a drug screen. Triple C Towing has a fleet of 2 inland tugs to provide service for the oil and gas industry. All vessels are provided with experienced personnel, and we do what we say we will do. Curtis Calley Welding, now hiring, and Triple C Towing, ready to work.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights.
Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services.
Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Stan Grobwell has a very important piece to come up here. It is the guys that got elected to the 2022 Bayou Hall of Fame.
It's time for the announcement of this year's induction class into the 2022 Bayou Region Athletic Hall of Fame. We're proud to announce our 6 inductees and look forward to the opportunity to celebrate their history throughout the year in our Bayou region. So without further ado, here they are in alphabetical order by last name. Our first inductee is LaRose High School graduate Bob Brunet. Brunet went on from Bayou Lafourche to star at Louisiana Tech, where he was an All-Gulf States Conference running back in the mid-60s. He was drafted by the Washington Redskins in the 7th round of the 1968 draft and ran for over 250 yards in his rookie year. In 1970, he was voted as the Special Teams MVP in the NFL. He enjoyed 9 years in the league and was known to be a coaching favorite of legends Vince Lombardi and George Allen. Brunet and his family now live in Denham Springs. Our next inductee is also a LaRose native. Art Cantrell moved on from the Bayou region to play his last year of high school football in Biloxi. After that, he came back to his home state, where he became an All-SEC running back for LSU. Cantrell ran for over 1,600 yards as a Tiger and played in both the Orange and Sun Bowls. After collegiate football, he went on to have a productive pro career where he was part of the 1973 Grey Cup championship team Ottawa Rough Riders in the CFL and the WFL champion Birmingham Americans in 1974. Cantrell now resides in Biloxi. Joining those two will be local coaching legend Kenneth Dixon. Originally from Bunkie, Louisiana, Coach Dixon lived most of his life in the Bayou region, where he was the leader in the success of girls basketball in our area. In his tenure at Ellendale Memorial High School since 1992, he led the Lady Patriots to 5 state championship titles, 2 state runner-up finishes, and 12 district titles. He accumulated over 650 career wins and, maybe most importantly, paved the way for over 20 young ladies to play collegiate basketball. Coach Dixon unexpectedly passed away of health issues during the high school playoffs last season. Our fourth inductee, Leonard Hughes, joins the class by virtue of his stellar career in NHRA racing for his part on the legendary Candies and Hughes racing team. Initially a driver for the team, he later went on to perform mechanic and tuning duties for the world champion drag racing team. In 1968, the Houma native and his crew set the national strip record with a speed of 7.87 seconds on the quarter-mile track at the U.S. Nationals, then reset the record at 7.60 seconds in 1969. Hughes and his wife Judy continued to live in Houma. Troy Johnson, our next inductee, was a standout track and field athlete at both South Terrebonne High School and Southern University, which led to a 6-year professional football career as a wide receiver. After his stint at Southern, Johnson became a leading receiver for the Denver Gold of the USFL in the mid-'80s. When the league folded, he played for 4 more years in the NFL, with his most productive years coming with the Cardinals, where he had over 550 yards receiving in 2 years. He went on to play for the Steelers and the Lions to round out his career. Troy and his family live in Houma. And our final inductee is Thibodeau High graduate Thomas Roussell. A stellar all-conference linebacker for the Eagles of the University of Southern Mississippi, Roussell played in both the Senior Bowl and the Blue-Gray Bowl, where he was the defensive MVP after his senior year. In 1968, he was drafted by the Washington Redskins in the 2nd round. He played in every Redskins game for the next 2 years before being traded to the Saints for Billy Kilmer. Roussell played for 2 years with the Saints before moving on to the WFL with the Chicago Fire. He and his family now live in Covington. And there you have it, the 6 greats who will be inducted into the class of 2022's Bayou Region Athletic Hall of Fame. Bob Brune, Art Cantrell, Kenneth Dixon, Leonard Hughes, Troy Johnson, and Thomas Roussell. What a class. We'll have more history to share on each of our inductees as we lead up to the induction ceremony in June.
And I would like to introduce to everybody the face of our Hall of Fame, Elmi Savoy. Elmi is now our director of our foundation over at Terrebonne General. Elmi joined us about a week and a half ago, and her job was to reach out to all of these inductees in the last week or so. What was that like, Elmi?
Actually, it was really awesome. Most of them were very humble, very appreciative, but I have to tell you guys a story about Art. So,
man, we got stories to tell you about it.
So when I called Art, he answers the phone and he says, I said, may I speak to Arthur Cantrell? I'm sorry, he's not here. And I said, okay, can I leave a message for him, because it's really important that I get in touch with him. And I'm explaining to him what this is about. And then he says, it's actually me. And he says, I get a lot of calls. And then he says, but I don't have time to talk right now because I'm kind of in the casino and I don't have time. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll call you back.
It's not kind of in the casino.
So
great.
Listen, and a lot of people would probably not necessarily relish the idea of having to reach out to these immediately like that, but Elmi sort of took the bull by the horns and reached out. A guy named David Barker is the face of the NFL Hall of Fame. This is the face of our Hall of Fame, so we're very appreciative. Now,
thank you.
No, I know Miss Elmi. She's going to do a great job.
Yes, I think so too. Data set?
The date is set June 23rd at the Cypress Columns. Doors will open at 5:30. The tickets aren't on sale yet, but we will send out notifications. We'll send out Facebook posts, and it'll also be posted on the foundation's website.
And it doesn't happen without sponsors that come throughout the community. I know People's Drugstore has always been big and influential. How do we look forward to those type things?
Yes, we actually have lots of sponsorship opportunities out there. We have they range from $500 to our presenting sponsor of $10,000. Again, check the website, and we will. Tickets are on sale. Tickets will go on sale. They're about $50 for the actual event.
And thanks, Martin, for allowing us the opportunity. This is what we do every year when we get that out to everybody. You'll start seeing press releases tomorrow. So we're really going to bomb the area related to these guys because we want their history to sort of live on. Anything particular happens between now and the event?
It's lots of planning, let's just say that. We have a huge team of people that's going to get everybody together, and actually, Stan, I think you're going to be working on the videos, interviewing all of the 6
You got
inductees.
me wondering how we're going to do the Art Cantrell. I guess we'll be doing it in a casino somewhere.
No. Look, you can catch Arthur at his place, because I talked to him about a month ago. He said, man, Mike, my eye, I don't know how I injured it. I said, what you talking about? He said, I was working in the yard, and he said, I'm not used to a shovel or a hoe, but he said I was hitting it, and all of a sudden, the back end of the shovel catches him in the eye.
Oh, wow.
And so he said, my eyesight's a little blurry, but he said, I'm used to that. But one of the...
He's probably had a few fists in the eye.
No. One of the best Arthur Cantrell stories they have, Sports Illustrated. Tommy Casanova's on the cover, and it ends, now you couldn't do this today.
71 or 72.
It ends it with LSU will win the national championship if they keep Arthur Cantrell out of jail.
The whole thing is, in the old days, okay, it's like us against them, If Arthur Cantrell was on your side,
no, you getting out.
No, you getting out. You ain't gonna have a problem.
Well, listen, just real quick before we go to our break, certainly we'd like to thank the marketing department, Rhonda Alford, Dustin Robichaud, and Tracy Adams. They do a wonderful job of putting this all together. Brett's helping me find pictures and old footage. Right now, we're in contact with the NFL and the NCAA to get footage and such. So we're really looking forward to it. And now it starts the process of going to sit down with each of these individuals and started talking about their lives, putting it all together.
Man, Arthur and Bob Brunet, Bob Brunet played for Otto Graham, Vince Lombardi, George Allen.
I don't think y'all may not have seen it. There was an interesting picture where Roussell, after his NFL days, went on to play in the WFL, and there's a picture of him tackling Art Cantrell, who was playing for Birmingham in the same game.
And he was the MVP of the championship.
Think about this, too. Two guys from LaRose. Two guys from LaRose are going in. Then the guy from Thibodeau, who's gone in with one of the guys from LaRose, were both drafted by the Washington Redskins in 1968. One in the second round, one in the 7th round.
Stan, I got a quick question before you go. I'm just curious. Has all the voting been finalized?
It has. You have to be a resident. I'm sorry, Rich. So you actually have a built-in excuse.
I could be. Where's Archie? Archie, I've been great all night. Where's Archie?
I got a house to sell you, Rich. I can get you a residency.
Rich has been telling me, no one knows this, but I actually was born in Dulac.
That's right. I put a fishing pole in my hand.
Maybe one day, Rich. Thank you.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Hi, I'm Harvey Sharp, owner of Bayou Disinfection and Restoration Services. Whether it's your home or your business, Bayou specializes in disinfection application, along with water, fire, mold damage cleanup. Bayou's supercharged delivery system, coupled with our hospital-grade disinfectant, revolutionizes the standard of clean and is proven effective as a virucide, sanitizer, disinfectant, and a fungicide. Call Bayou today to get your free consultation at 985-322-3003.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. He's here every week. It's Dr. Pat.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Make a statement. Asking all them questions.
Let's give the floor to our Doctor of Curiosity and the voice of the people, Dr. Pat Hagan.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
I don't know if we're going to make it through the line.
All right, Doc. You got it, brother. Man, Doc's all
There's been
clean shaved today.
Oh, absolutely, man. For the last show. And a lot of adversity this year, but look at the big crowd that got out here for the last show. And been a great year. Appreciate you guys and appreciate Martin and all the sponsors. You know, the Saints are 3-0 against the top two seeds, the Bucks and the Packers.
Yep.
They're not that far away from being elite. And considering the three quarterbacks and all the O-linemen they had to play, comment on, number one, the job Sean did this year, and do you think he'd be motivated to keep coaching?
Hell yeah.
Close?
Yeah.
And then the next quarterback.
Sean Payne likes money now.
I know. Who would be a reclamation project that Sean could revitalize his career? Because I don't see Sean drafting somebody and starting a rookie.
Ain't no reclamation. I'm going after Russell Wilson. I'll give up the 2 first-round picks. I'll give up a veteran player. I want Russell Wilson on this football team.
Yeah, it's going to be because we have a championship defense, like I said earlier, our special teams. And like you said, Dr. Pat, that wasn't like luck that we beat Tampa Bay twice.
It beat the crap out of them.
And Green Bay. I mean, look at the great Aaron Rodgers, who's probably going to be the MVP. I don't know, him or Tom Brady. So who's considered for the MVP? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. They don't want to play the Saints. I know Tom Brady can't even sleep at night after he plays the Saints. I mean, think about that.
And we got shirts to prove it.
He's being all bratty, and he's like breaking the pad and all that, and he's cussing out coaches. He don't do that in other games. Y'all see Tom Brady do that in other games? Nope.
Never.
But the Saints are in his head. So we right there. We ain't no rebuilding. We right there next year.
Now, who do y'all see as your favorites to get to the Super Bowl in each conference, and who are your dark horses? Somebody that could get hot and go all the way like the Bucs did last year.
Burrow. Cincinnati, I'd love to see the Cinderella team jump in.
I would love to see that, too.
And they got a shot, I think. I mean, maybe not. These guys are more experts about it.
Well, the one thing,
like them.
and listen,
got to pass through Green Bay.
But I mean, the AFC is who could be against Joe Burrow and the Bengals? Come on, it's who they, who that, whatever that. I mean, but how can you not be a Bengals fan? The Bengals hadn't done anything, so and we love Joe Burrow. So how could the Saints are in there? How can you not cheer for the Bengals?
Right
now,
for financial reasons, Titans.
Yeah,
for me, because I do pre and post game for them.
Well, Derrick Henry's coming back, right?
Derrick Henry's coming back with the fifth metatarsal bone that he broke in his foot. But, Julio's down, though. So Tannehill's going to have to do something. That's interesting to see what Tannehill does, if he can live up to the moment. And I still think you got to go to Lambeau Field. And Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. So
that's tough.
I mean,
I know,
who
but the Bucs did it last year.
You're right. But who wouldn't like? I mean, I think Green Bay, Cincinnati Super Bowl. I think we'd embrace that. And you know what I'm hoping for? And some Saints fans, because they hate the 49ers and the Rams because the NFC West. I just hope the 49ers beat the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
That is one matchup that Dallas. They kind of looking at Mike. You don't think they can upset Dallas? I think they could.
I don't think that's not what I would predict.
But I'm just telling you, Dallas knows they better pack a lunch going against that 49ers front.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it. Martin, you got it.
All right, we got Dwayne Raw here. Just a quick story. When I was 7, Daddy took me to see Billy Kilmer. They were filming a movie at the time with Charlton Heston.
Number 1.
He was dressed like Billy Kilmer. I got his autograph. On the way home, Daddy told me it really wasn't Billy Kilmer's autograph. I tore it up and threw it out the window. Charlton Heston's autograph.
Yep.
It's somewhere on some street in New Orleans way back when.
Come on, Martin.
Yeah, he wrote the Chariots much better than he threw a football.
Right. I think that was before Ben-Hur, but nonetheless.
When Moses.
Mr. Raw brought his son last week to meet 2 former Saints players. Just to show you the impact, he took a picture and he blew it up and he brought it back this week. I want to show you.
Oh.
That's his son right here. Let's keep holding it up. Check that out. That's awesome. Look how excited that young fella is.
Man, he's probably saying, who's that offensive tackle
Bobby
next
and Rich, Bobby and Rich, y'all pumped the young fella up and y'all made his day. That's going to hang where? In his wall?
Yeah, it's going to go to his wall.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And he wants some autographs after the show. So you see, you guys make a difference no matter how old you really are at this point.
And you know what, Mark, it's all about relationships. You know, you go through the years, and I want to say this. I know it's the back end of the show. I want to, a few moments of silence for Melvin Guitros.
Yeah.
Melvin Guitros, my next door neighbor, passed away yesterday. He was 87 years of age, and how he helped mold me and made me tough. I mean, I can tell you right now, I worked offshore in 1979 at a Booker drilling rig, had 24 hours off in 7 days. I never forget this, because he said, and I don't want to think that I was a wuss, so I'm hanging in there, I got my fingers smashed, and, and they were always like, they would tell me offshore, get the key to the V-door. I mean, what's the key to the V-door? Or you got to go get the pipe stretcher. I mean, then I'm thinking, I'm so tired of going, you can't stretch a pipe? And, they mess with me because I went to college, so they'd call you a worm. You're going to college. I can tell you, I worked 4 hitches that summer in 79. Football was easy. I couldn't wait to go back to school. And that's because of Melvin Guitros. God rest his soul, he passed away, 87 years of age. Next door neighbor, his son T-Mel, just going way back. That's the kind of things. When you go through generation to generation, that, listen, I can remember like yesterday. Adversity and toughness, I'm going to tell you, working offshore And considering how tired I was like, what? Man, you know why it's so dangerous offshore? Everyone's so freaking tired. Because then it wasn't no 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I was a roustabout, and it was like, okay, you can get off now, and then I'm maybe off for 4 hours. Okay, the boat, the supply boat's in, we got to unload the pipes. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go back to school. I mean, it was that hard, but God rest his soul, Melvin Guitros. All right, thank you so much for letting me, because I got a bunch of stories, but
that he does.
That's just something that meant a lot to me, considering anytime you got a nickname White Mule, that shows you how hard you work. I mean, and all his fingers were crooked. I mean, I never forget that. Shake his hands, it would break, and it would just heal that way, and he never fixed them. I'm just telling you, he was a tough man.
He was one tough dude.
Yeah,
he was one tough dude. Thank you, Bob. We appreciate that. We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
Are you looking for a new or used vehicle? Well, come check us out at Barker Honda because we get new, updated inventory daily. We're offering top dollar for your trade.
Give us the opportunity to buy your car.
We offer new and used financing.
Come check out our award-winning trucks.
For cars, trucks, SUVs, come check us out.
Our sales specialists can help find the vehicle just for you.
We're getting new inventory daily.
Come down and see us on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Holman. Always remember,
it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights.
Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services.
Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it, bro.
I just want to throw some thanks back at you guys, and I want the audience to, can we give a round of applause to Mike, Bobby, and Rich?
Thank you.
And also, I want to include Harry, Dr. Pat, and Stan. I tell you what, there's a lot of talent assembled here, and we're looking forward to a great year next year. Boy, if we get Russell Wilson.
No, you know what? You know what's going to happen? Joe Burrow is coming to the Dome. I don't know when, but next year Cincinnati Bengals are playing in the Caesars Superdome.
And I never introduce him.
They won't introduce the offense.
The Saints are going to introduce the defense because no telling, Joe Burrow might get as many cheers as the Saints team.
Yeah, it's true.
Might get more. You never know.
Yep.
So, Ian, you might want to put that on your schedule. You could be in the stands and put his jersey on and people think it's you. How about that? And once again, I thank our naming sponsors and our corporate sponsors. We can't do it without y'all. Thank y'all so much. And looking forward to next year, I guess, when we go to the Super Bowl again. Right, Mom? Yeah, she says, oh, yeah, no doubt.
Happy
Her Rotary
New
beads
Year.
out right now. All right, Mike.
Thank you. We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
For years, Tony
Alford and Priscilla Larpenter have been the foundation of what is now Alford and Associates. Their passion and vision have been embedded company-wide. It's about making sure that our community is strong and protected for the next generation.
I have such respect and pride for our company, and I'm excited to bring new and innovative ideas to our clients.
It's quite simple. It's the mindset of our organization to protect you from life's hardships.
Your benefits are our business.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights.
Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services.
Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We want to thank everybody for watching. Until later in the year, another version of Sports on the Bayou.
Who dat? Happy New Year. Healthy New Year.